Uh, this is the first Phalcon Hangout. Um, we're waiting for some people to join if you guys want to. I've posted in the Google Plus page the links where one can actually join. Let me see if it works. I do see questions from David. I will try to answer as much as possible. You have to bear with me. This is one of the first Hangouts that I've ever done. So let me try and figure out which one it is, the one that we need to send to people so that they can actually join the conversation live. It's pretty much something that I would do, and actually it will help if I put my headsets on. There you go. So, all right, we got a few questions from David. Is there a way how to maintain value and view conversational scope and so on and so forth? Before I get into the Q&A, let me quickly say what Phalcon is for the ones that will be watching this Hangout on air later on. It will be available on YouTube. Phalcon is a dream, something that started 2 years ago, and basically it came from the need to make PHP faster. We have a problem as PHP developers that we build really good and really fast applications. We also build very bad and very slow applications. It depends on the developer, but PHP has managed to give us the power to develop rapid applications quickly. It's a very easy language to learn. It has a lot of extensions, a lot of things that we can tap into and provide functionality for our users. So the problem is that we started finding in complex application performance was degrading, so we had to throw in tons and tons of hardware and so on and so forth. Now with all of the hardware and memories and all that stuff coming down in price and the introduction of virtual boxes, this is not necessarily a big problem, but still performance is a key factor. So we've seen a project from Facebook, the HHVM, where they write PHP code, it translates all that code into some sort of pure C, and then it just boosts everything up in terms of performance. So Phalcon followed something along those lines, and it said, okay, we're going to build a framework, tools that people can use with using the MVC methodology, and we're going to have that as an extension on your web browser. So as a result, Phalcon was born 2 years ago or so. That was the first commit. My name is Nikos, or Nikolos, as you can see on the screen. I'm one of the lead developers in Phalcon. I don't develop in C. I made here and there changes to some of the components, but I mainly don't develop in C. I'm more into managing the project, making sure that we fix very critical bugs and that we have as good documentation and as good tests as possible. I'm not personally satisfied with the level of documentation that we have and the tests. We could do more. But you know, this is an open source project. We can only do as much. Okay, so David, I saw your question. I'm gonna answer it as soon as I can. Right? Just give me a moment. So so here's the thing, that we built Phalcon from zero. It was a huge learning experience. Andres, Edouard, and others from the core team managed to tap into all of these resources that were not so much known to the general public, and thus Phalcon was created initially. We had tons of bugs. We had limited functionality initially. When I started working on this project, we were at 0.4. To give you an idea. And the websites that I built at that time were functional. Yeah, things were missing, but they were functional. It was awesome to see that I could get so much performance initially. Now, through all those years and with the introduction of 1.0, we started getting a lot of traction. A lot of people started using the framework, seeing the value of having a framework in such a state, meaning as an extension, rather than just a simple folder structure where you can upload it. The fact alone that your web browser, your web server doesn't have to stat all these files in order to give you functionality is insane. The example that I always give people is a simple hello world application for, let's say, Phalcon could include, let's say, 4 files. If you go towards the Zen Framework Symfony side of things, you could go up to 40, 45. So all these, if you multiply it with the traffic in your site, you will have a significant amount of processing resources spent just to read what the framework does and bring it up towards the functionality towards your application. So that was a small introduction into Phalcon. We are now on the verge of introducing 2.0. We have recently released 1.3.1, which is our latest and more stable version. And our website, the website that holds Phalcon PHP, has been running on Phalcon 2.0 for quite a while. We've recently migrated the discussion forum, which is at forum.phalconphp.com, and that one is running on 2.0. So we're making strides. With the introduction of 2.0, we are also introducing a brand new language, which is called Zephyr. You can find it in zephyr-lang.com. I'm gonna post everything on a blog post. And basically, that is an intermediate language between something a hybrid like PHP or JavaScript or something like that. So the syntax is very, very common towards people, but it gives you the ability of building components or extensions that Zephyr then translates into C code, and then you can just load it up on your web browser. You don't need to build everything, a whole application in Zephyr. You can build the most expensive components that you have. And Phalcon 2.0 is built solely on Zephyr. Right, so let's have a look. We have a lot of people on this page. Let me quickly go, because I see in the Q&A module that we have a lot of people there. Let me quickly load this up. Hold on, I'm just getting a lot of messages here and there, so please excuse me. Let me just quickly say to the people that we are on this one, thanks for the heads up, guys. I think there was a miscommunication, mostly my fault. I think I posted the wrong URL somewhere, so I need to make sure that everybody is there. Let's see. Okay, I'm trying to connect my internet connection. I have that on me. All right, so let me give the link to the other page. When I first shared this, I shared it through my personal account, but in order for us to post it as a Hangout on air, um, we need to do it through Phalcon's site so that it can be posted to the YouTube channel of Phalcon. The Hangout is live on this page. Okay, so hopefully I got some people that that are going to be coming up. I just posted this in the page. Okay. All right. Okay, so let me check. Let me check. All right. All right, what David says, is there a way to maintain value in view conversational scope usually available during submits to the same controller? I'm gonna quick a brief break here. I'm gonna try and answer all the questions available. I want to hear everybody's opinion, but bear in mind I don't know everything. So if I don't know something, we'll have to address this in the discussion forum. The person who's more versed into Phalcon and how it works is Andres. And as you can see, I'm not afraid to say that I don't know something. Now, one thing also that I do not know is how to give you guys the link to join this Hangout. So let me just try this with Brian. Try this. All right, so David is asking this question, how to maintain the value in a view conversational scope. Maintaining the values during submits to the same controller. The problem with PHP, as far as I understand your question, David, is that whenever the request starts and the whole page goes through the whole dispatch loop, as soon as the dispatch finishes, you're done. There's no state. Nothing is left in your browser or your web server that could tell you, hey, keep these values. The only way to do this is to basically turn around and store stuff, try and store stuff in your session. So that's the only way to actually keep values from one request to another. Of course, we all know that from your controller you can use this view set var, and you can set variables that you can use in your view, and you can even set objects and all that stuff. But the problem with that is that as soon as the view renders, that's it. The values are gone. They've rendered, and it's goodbye. Unless you use some sort of a oh, okay. Now in the controllers there is this persistent, but it keeps values from controller per user. Where did that go? When users open the same page, several browser tabs in persistent storage, either the same shared value. David, I really don't know about that. I haven't used the persistent. I really need to check the documentation. I'm behind on this. This was something that the guys did, most likely Andres and Vladimir. So I really don't know about this. We'll have to pick it up in the forum on how the persistent works. Let me see if I can invite people in here. Problem is that I don't see the invite, but oh, there you go. Okay, so I found how it works. All right, let me post the invite link so whoever gets this comes in first. Sorry about this, guys. I'm kind of like new at this. This is the link to join live. Okay. And David, thank you so much for Davi, sorry, not David. Davi Moreira just posted something. Brian. I know we have 10 viewers, which is great. Thank you all so much for joining in. Hopefully I've done something right, and you guys are going to be joining. The link to join live is this, I think. All right, so let me quickly go through all the questions that I have. They left already. Is there a way to maintain the view? Okay, so I'm pretty much caught up with the questions. Mostly David Marco was the one that was asking. A couple of other things while we wait other people to join, or any other questions that you guys might have. You see my wonderful basement that I have in the background. Sorry about that. That's my little den that I use, and that's basically where I program mostly. Let's see if I can invite. Let's see, Brian. There you go. Brian has arrived. And he's muted for some reason. Brian, it seems that you're muted for some reason. I don't know.
I'm here. You able to hear me?
Oh, okay. All right. Awesome. All right. So a couple of other things to let you guys know. Some things that will be coming in the pipeline. We have huge plans for this whole project, and we hope that we're gonna make a difference to people's lives with our work. Some people seem to forget that this is just an open source project. We all have families, we all have works outside this, and sadly, most of us in the core team do not have the luxury of using Phalcon in our day jobs. I know for a fact that the base programming language for my work is .NET. I know that Andres is also programming in .NET, and we use PHP in our own little free time. So although it's extremely encouraging to see all these, I'm not showing myself. Okay, it is extremely encouraging to see all these NFRs and people wanting more and more functionality to be built in the framework. It is also sad because we have only so much time to devote to the project. And having said that, this was one of the reasons that Zephyr was born. C could very well be intimidating, a difficult language to look into. You know, one wrong character, segmentation fault. It doesn't work. And I have to admit, I did look into that just because of Phalcon, and I decided, no, that's not the language for me. So that's why I turned my focus mostly on documentation, writing tests, maybe creating videos, and with this today, trying to engage the community and hear what you guys have to say, what we need what we need to basically do in order to help you guys. Okay, I know from some of you that I've had some interactions with that you are using it in professional applications. I know it spans from the food industry, from the retail industry. We even have governments or states, for that matter. I know that the city of Guadalajara, I think I spelled it, I think I pronounced it right, in Mexico, is using Phalcon in one of their statistical applications. So there's really good traction here. We're extremely excited that you guys are all putting your faith into the framework, and then we repay you back by producing something that you guys can use. Granted, it's not perfect, but you know, as with anything, we need to work it out and just try and fix everything. Now, the need for Zephyr was the fact that we're only 5 guys. All right. Apart from if we take Dream, who is and I'm calling him Dream because I cannot pronounce his name. I really apologize. He's our friend in China who has done remarkable work in the framework. The Phalcon image was his little baby that he introduced to the framework. And other than that, constant development comes only from a very, very small amount of people. So what we want to do is we want to build this ecosystem around framework, around Phalcon, with people offering solutions to NFRs, to bugs, to whatever, in a language that almost everybody can understand, and it's not going to be C. So that's why Zephyr was built in. The funny thing is that when we introduced it, we got exactly the same reaction as when Phalcon was introduced. We had a lot of hate. We had a lot of love, many fights here and there. And the best part was that they told us, no, it's not going to work. Why do you want to introduce a brand new language? We have enough languages as we are right now. Strangely enough, after a few months of development, and when we released the pre-alpha, the first one, we started seeing some of the big guys turning around and saying, hey, wait a minute, this is a really good idea. Interestingly enough, we got an email from one of our guys here, one of the community the guys in the community, and he basically said that he met with Matthew Weir-Affini, who is the lead developer and architect of Zen Framework, and they were considering of building their events module, their whole event structure, with Zephyr as an extension, in order to offer Zen Framework, the slowest component of Zen Framework, as an extension to speed things up. And there was also a similar discussion from, I think that it was the Spanish Symphony group, that they were talking and they wanted to do something like that. So basically take a mature framework like Symphony, Zen, and so on and so forth, look at the slowest component in there, the one that you have performance problems, and then put that as an extension in your browser using Zephyr, and then of course that will speed things up. So this is where we are right now. I see we got nearly a full house here. So the floor is open to you guys. Anything you guys wanna say, contribute, ask? Let's get the ball rolling. Did I mute everybody by mistake, or just in case? No?
I actually had something I wanted to say. I just couldn't remember exactly what.
Oh, okay. Anything that you found that is not good, something that we can improve on? All right, Odiel, oh, our friend Odiel, our very, very early adopter. In the chat, I'm wondering what is going to be the future of Zephyr now that Facebook released HHVM. Zephyr is gonna be here to stay, and the reason I'm saying this is uh, because there are problems with the implementation of HHVM. It is a very daunting task. I don't know if they changed the way you can install it, set it up, write on it, and so on and so forth. But it's when I started using it at the beginning when they introduced it, it was a mess. I must have spent nearly a week to even try and do a hello world or whatever. Maybe I'm dumb, fine. But at the time, it was really difficult. And whenever you hear about this brand new idea, Phalcon here, people are extremely reserved to try it, to even say, okay, what am I going to do? The difference between, the way I see it, the difference between HHVM and Phalcon is that they play on two different playing fields. HHVM could very well sort of like justify its setup and maintenance and everything on really, really large sites where you need thousands and thousands of requests. Phalcon might not be able, and I'm saying might because we haven't had somebody that told us otherwise. That's why I'm saying might not be able to throughput more than X amount, and HHVM could be able to output more than that. But in order to set up Phalcon, all you have to do is just have a VM and run 2-3 commands. That's about it. You start your web browser, you're good to go. HHVM has a lot more that you need to take advantage of, to set up, and so on and so forth. Plus, now we're seeing something that I was just laughing out loud the other day. They released a new language. It's called Hack. Hacklang or something. Yeah, it's hacklang.org. It's the new programming language that has been introduced by Facebook, and it's the language for HHVM. And without wanting to chime our bell, or however that expression is, you know what? We did this 8 months ago. So good for them. I'm really happy. We're not here to compete with anything. We don't have any source of funding from anybody to turn around and tell us, hey, you promote this or promote that. We do this out of our free time, and basically all we want is people to work with this, give us their feedback so that we can make it better. If our work can help you guys get another 100 users with the same equipment on your website, save you a little bit of time by doing things, programming, this, that, the other, dev tools, this, that, whatever tools we offer, then we're happy. Now, if we get money in the end, that will be great, but it hasn't gone to that. I'm going to answer quickly a question by Gareth Williams. Is Phalcon running all large sites? The sites that we were allowed to post, they're all on our GitHub wiki page, and I think it's called Sites Powered by Phalcon PHP. If you go to the Phalcon repository and you click on the wiki, you're going to see the link there, and you're going to see all the sites. Some of them are hobby sites. Mostly mine are hobby sites. But there are some that are quite advanced. I know that there is somebody that built a URL shortener. Some other guy that built, I don't know what. I mean, it was really, really insane. Some on the advertising business. There are certain sites that we were not allowed to advertise. This, yes, Guitarama 2, absolutely, Davi. Guitarama is a huge application, loads of views, loads of data, and it runs really well. Um, there there are some testimonials in the website. Yes, that's correct, Alexander. I'm gonna get to that in a sec. Um, we have certain testimonials on the website. We didn't put everything up there, and some of them might not be translated in your language, but basically the feedback that we got is that we do make a difference. You can push a lot more traffic into your site with exactly the same equipment. So maybe it's not the perfect, but like I said, we can just move on with it and just make it perfect with your help. Two things that I can tell you without naming names and all that stuff. One I mentioned earlier is that the city of Guadalajara in Mexico is using Phalcon internally for their statistical applications to do analysis and data. And we also know of two websites that are big retailers in Poland. We're talking about thousands of views per day. They use Phalcon as well. We cannot advertise them, sadly, but that's what we know. All right, quickly going to the list. ODL says that there's two different ways to install HSVM. I haven't tried it. After my initial attempt, I didn't try it. Yeah, I think it's Alexander, the name. Sorry, but my Cyrillic is not good. It looks like Alexander. For big sites, you don't need only Phalcon PHP. Phalcon is a good... Alex, all right, thank you. Is a good driver. I totally agree. People who think that only one item will solve all their problems are hugely mistaken, and sadly, certain people think that that one item is the solution to everything. I have a huge site, a personal site. I'm involved in one site. It's a discussion forum. I'm not going to advertise it, but it has around 1,000 users on average every minute. Around 10 million posts and so on and so forth. It is not built in Phalcon, but what we did is we found out that the plain vanilla installation that we had from the forum vendor, the person that sold us the software, is not going to cut it. So what we did is we added more hardware. We added load balancers and this and that and the other, and in the end we found out that in order to make the search work, we had to integrate this with Sphinx. So exactly what Alex is saying, for a huge site, you don't need Phalcon only. Yeah, Phalcon will get you this far. Then you have to move forward with additional infrastructure, with additional resources, and so on and so forth. What Phalcon will give you immediately is your 512 megabyte RAM micro instance on Amazon would allow you with X framework, let's say 50 requests a second. With Phalcon, it's going to be nearly double. So the performance that you gain is almost instant. All right. Audial, my question was because the future in Zephyr can be more than a language to build extensions for PHP and can integrate with a Facebook VM. Audial, we really do not know what the future holds. We are in baby steps yet. You guys cannot even imagine how happy we are whenever we get emails from the forum. When we first brought the forum, I would get, let's say, maybe 2 emails a week. I would go into the IRC channel. It would be me, myself, and I. Sometimes Andres will join in, and that's about it. Now you go to the IRC channel, you see minimum 10 to 15 people there. Every so often you get a new email interaction in the forum, and this is something that is ecstatic for us. I mean, we love it. So many people just trying and finding value in what we did. It's really amazing. So I really cannot say what we're gonna do in the future. It is a good idea to integrate it with a Facebook VM. I don't know how receptive Facebook will be in terms of what we do. I've seen weird things in my life in terms of proprietary or even open source. And because the lead developer of that particular open source project did not want to do something, then the whole collaboration stopped. Definitely something that we need to address in the future. For starters, our goal is to have 1.3 series stable for at least a month or two. Hopefully, we're not going to have any bugs in terms of segmentation faults and all that stuff. We had quite a few of those the first day that we released, sadly. And then after after these few months, maybe 1 or 2 months, if we're ready, we can release 2.0. And once 2.0 comes out, then we're talking a totally different scenario. As Brian says, the Zephyr should bring many more developers to contribute back, and I do agree, and that was the main reason. We want people not to be intimidated by C, and to allow them to say, oh, you know what, there's a bug here, I think I found the solution, there you go. So I just fixed it, pull request, we're done. And this way, the 5 core developers immediately become 10, 20, 100, whatever. So we get so much done a lot faster, and it helps everybody. So that's it. Let me see. Do I have any questions here? Can you use varnish cache with Phalcon? That comes from Christy. I've never seen what that is. I think I heard about it once. Web application accelerator. Most likely, yeah. Christy, you could use almost anything you want with Phalcon. From what I quickly see here, is it says that you install it on your front of your web application to speed it up significantly. I'm presuming that it has to do with your resources and caching your content, and so on and so forth. If that is the case, it doesn't differ that much from, let's say, a CDN where you store all your all your images in somewhere else. Or it doesn't differ from Phalcon's front-end cache, where you can cache pages themselves from static content. 2.0 will be backwards compatible with 1.x. Any changes that we're going to do or we will need to do in terms of change the API will be well known in advance. So once you decide that you want to go you're going to go down the upgrade route and say, all right, this is 1.3 now, let's move on to 2. You will know exactly what you need to change. We had some minor API changes in the past. I remember there were some in the logger and the logger formatter. But I can tell you, for my sites, my hobby sites, my upgrade was build, and that's about it. Of course, any good programming and I've been extremely bad at this. Any good programming effort requires certain tests. So what you could do is you could put 2.0 into, let's say, a virtual machine, put your application there, run your tests, see if you have any problems with it. As far as the framework is concerned, everything will be everything will be documented well in advance, so that you guys know before you jump into 2.0 that you might need to change something. Alex, great question in the chat. Nicolas, but what about money now? Development of Phalcon is a paid job. What drives you to produce this great software? If our main drive has always been the challenge. Can we do this? That's one thing. And once we establish that we can do it, I mean, in the future, you do think of yourself as, oh man, I so wish I could do this all day long, you know, because it's something that I love. Sadly, we don't have a tree that makes money in the backyard, so we have to work in our own jobs. We do not have a structure at the moment to make money from Phalcon. Whether this is to have a job that we can use Phalcon. Like I said earlier, both Andres and I don't know, maybe Eduard as well, are not programming in PHP in our primary jobs. We're programming in .NET, which is funny, I mean, to hear it. But our main job is our main job. That's what gives us the money to survive. Phalcon is just a product made out of love, made out of the need to do something to help other fellow developers, because we have been frustrated equally with performance, with issues that we see that we don't like. All right. To give you an example, I used to work for this huge application, and when I'm saying huge application, you would load up Eclipse and Eclipse would crash. It was that much. I think we had around 3,500 templates, view templates. So that gives you an idea how much the code of that was. And that application was slow. Everything that we had to do, we were using Zen Framework, we were using ZenDB and Doctrine at the same time, and what else? Smarty. So all of these components together, and the application was crawling. Just to load a simple page, we would get around 7-8 seconds, just because of the volume of data and the way it was built. So when I have that in mind, when I used to do, I'm more driven to create something that will not allow a good developer, let me put it this way, to get to that point where they can turn around and tell their client, you know what, it is slow, we probably need to throw in more equipment, and so on and so forth. Now, the future, the way we envision in terms of getting money from Phalcon, because at the end of the day, why not? I mean, if I can quit my job tomorrow, get exactly the same money that I get right now to feed my family, and program in Phalcon, that's heaven to me, right? And I'm pretty sure that the rest of the guys in the team and whoever else does that would agree with me. But we're not there yet. So what we started doing, it's very early days. We introduced stickers a few months back. I actually have them here. Ta-da! I'm the sticker master. I'm the one that sends them, basically, which is great. I mean, we've seen a lot of people that they're getting those stickers. They're trying to kind of like either tease their colleagues or show off their Phalcon colors and all that. We've been asked many times to put in some T-shirts. The problem with the T-shirts is that we don't know everybody's size, So, and you don't have a company that will build them on demand. They usually tell you, okay, you need to buy 50 or 60 or whatever of this size. So I was thinking of going to an online store to do something, excuse me, so that people can get some Phalcon gear, and that's coming in the next few weeks. We do have the donate button, and many of you manage to send, $5, $10, whatever, and sometimes even more, which helps a lot. It's not only the hosting bills that we have, but it it kind of like shows us the recognition. It gives us recognition in terms of, hey, you guys did a great job. There you go. Now, what the future holds is we're going to create a company, a legal entity, where we're going to be like any other software provider, but we're going to specialize only in Phalcon. So we haven't figured out exactly the way we're going to do this, but the main idea is, let's say you need some help. All right, you could, let's say, buy 1 or 2 hours worth of support. You can use them anytime you want. And if you get stuck here, you just fire up we set up a meeting or something like that. You fire up the camera or the screen share, and we deal with it. That's one. Two, could very well be you come over and say, hey guys, I want you to build this. And we build it, give it to you, you pay us, done. So these are the two areas that I would like to explore. It is, again, early days, but that's how we're thinking that we might make money. Bear in mind that Symphony started exactly the same way. Fabien, I think his name is Pontesier or something like that. Fabien, anyway, is the guy that created Sensio Labs, and now Sensio Labs has around 75 employees. So it was the guy's dream. So if he did it, why not us? There's a lot of web development work for everybody. So I mean, we're not selfish, as you guys know. We're doing this out of our own free time. I've been talking all myself on my own. I will answer these two questions, then I'll just open the floor to everybody that wants to say something, share opinions, and so on and so forth. Odiel, where is the main brain of Phalcon? The main brain of Phalcon is Andres and Eduard and Vladimir. Andres is in Mexico, Eduard is in Colombia. I'm here in the US. Vladimir is in Ukraine, and Nikolai is in Russia, I think. I'm sure. So we're kind of like scattered everywhere. Where, as in, why isn't he here, or where geographically? Because Odiel is asking, where is Andres? Why isn't he here? I don't know. He knows about this. Probably he got caught up. If you're asking where physically, he's in Mexico City. Now, Alex is asking, why don't you introduce CMS based on Phalcon? You can sell it. Yes, we could. But that's going to be from that company that we're building. Actually, Davi caught me up there. Lantian, I think it's Nikita Veshin or Veskin something, has created an awesome project. It's extremely beautifully written. I love it. Sometimes I actually go and look at the way Nikita thought about this. It's called Phalconi. It's in the chat. You guys can actually see it. Alex says he has built his own CMS. Great. I mean, the more the merrier. If you guys can open source these and show to the world, that's great. If you can't, that's fine. So absolutely go for it. So I'm shutting my mouth now. The floor is all yours. whoever is brave enough. I didn't mute you guys again, did I?
Nope.
Okay, so everybody's okay. All right, great. I'm new at this. There's a lot of controls here. I have to look at 3 different things. So, all right. So, Brian, you're the brave one. Go for it.
I'm the what?
You're the brave one. Go for it. Share your experiences. Share your frustration.
Brave one.
What you like, you don't like.
Yeah, well, the initial attraction to Phalcon in the beginning was the ease of use, the rich documentation, and of course the speed. Those where it all originated. I had come from a Zen 2 background, a little bit of Cake, and a little bit of CodeIgniter, and none of those really met my needs. I didn't like the speed. I didn't like the docs, especially with Cake, and it was difficult to navigate. It really was. It didn't seem very natural. I was doing things that seemed more like I had to force myself to do things. So seeking out Phalcon I was actually reading up on speed benchmarks, and I stumbled across one that listed maybe 10 or 12 different languages, and obviously Phalcon was at the top. And I started looking at it. I thought at first it was just a micro framework. I didn't really understand the concept at first. I thought that was the only possible way that you could get that kind of speed. But then reading more into it, I realized it was a C implementation, as a Apache extension or whatever it was. I'm sorry, PHP extension. And tried it out, started using it in a couple small projects, and then eventually started integrating it in with pretty much everything I did. And that was all because of its ease of use. That was the biggest thing. Obviously, like most developers, I like to plan for performance in the beginning. So using Phalcon seemed like a no-brainer at that point. And that's how it all began.
Cool. Cool. Can you you use it daily now?
I do.
Right?
Yeah, I use it for my professional job, and I also use it for my side work. I was able to,
awesome.
Since I run the show at my professional job as well, I was able to get basically people on board because we manage our own servers anyway, so I didn't have to worry about the not being able to load the extension. So it really made no sense not to go with it, And since then, I've hired 2 additional developers who had really low ramp-up times and got going on Phalcon. So we're basically an entire Phalcon shop now.
Nice. Awesome. We should hire you to write some Zephyr extensions and stuff.
I've been running Phalcon
awesome.
for about a year and a half now, nonstop. I probably have about 3,000 hours under it.
Nice,
but
awesome.
That's how it began with me.
Cool. All right. Anybody else wants to join in? No? Yes? Don't be shy, guys. Go for it.
Just typing.
Davi, don't be shy. You can tell us your views.
Okay. First of all, hi guys. I'm a little bit shy, but okay. Let's start the conversation. I must confess that I don't have much experience of Phalcon in code. I just started some projects recently, and most of my participation with Phalcon was with translation. Nicolaus knows this already better than anyone here. I've helped to translate the site of Phalcon from English to Portuguese, and with some help of some guys here, including some of people of my work, well, some of my colleagues, and some of my part on this conversation here. I just noted some questions. I hope that someone just could answer me. I believe it is. The first question I would like to ask, it's not for you only, Nicholas. I would like to ask to everyone here. First, in this last January of 2014, the Packet Publishing published a book about Phalcon, getting started with Phalcon, from Stephen Miller. I've just bought it recently and was just looking and forked some of the repos he published on the book. I would like to first know the opinion of everybody here about the book. What do you think about it? And if anyone just bought the book and well, everything that you have to say about the book.
Okay. Has anybody heard about this book? I mean, I did hear about it. I never bought it, to be quite frank with you. But has anybody gotten it and has any feedback?
Let me first find a link to the book. Okay.
There you go. I got the link.
Oh.
I'm posting it in the chat. So
nice.
published it with. Frankly speaking, it was my to-do to get it, just to get it. I didn't think that. I didn't think that anybody would just have the time to write a book in Phalcon. We did discuss about this many times ago, many months ago, but we just never had any what you call it, any time to basically do this. I will point your attention to two other links. One Edouard sent me, or Edouard.
Oh, the Udemy course.
Let me put the the accent, which is not very good. And the other one is by J. Ream. There you go. So there's two other links. The Phalcon PHP from J. Ream. It's one of the regular guys that does a lot of training and works with it. And the Udemy is also another training that one can actually get. Actually, you know what? Jesse Boyer. It's exactly the same guy. JReam and
yep, that's right.
JReam website and Udemy is the same guy. Way to go! I was trying to remember his name, but when I just turned around into the other one, I saw it. So most likely it's exactly the same course, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe it is. The same link, the same video. Yep. Two links for the same source. Yeah, that's right.
All right. So anyway, that's our first course for Phalcon. The other course that we have is called the forum, where you actually see people going like, "Oh my God, the sky is falling. What have I done?" And you get so many replies. And don't get me wrong, I'm actually laughing at when I see people asking the simple questions, because almost every week I find myself doing something extremely stupid. So I'll give you an example, and of course my my forum is Andres. Hey buddy, can you get a minute? Blah 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 blah. So the other day I was just dying. I couldn't get a named variable from a named parameter from the dispatcher to print out. So let's say you have API blah 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 slash 1.0 slash whatever. So that 1.0 I called it version. So I wanted to get it into my application so I can have all the links done and all that stuff. And somehow it wasn't coming up. It ended up that when I was defining the routes, I put an extra slash in the end. So that's a baby mistake, but we all make them, and I'm very happy to see that people ask these questions and make these mistakes, because the next time, you're gonna help somebody else that does this, and we're gonna keep the whole community going. And thank God we don't have any destructive members in the community. Those that turn around and say, "Well, read the manual," or with the F in the middle. So thank God we're a really great community. So I'm really happy about this.
Yeah. Jumping to next question. Actually, this is not just a question. I would like to thank because on the work of the translation. Recently, you put the files to translate about the documentation on the
Yes.
on the translatory process, and that's really good. I was expecting for this.
It's not. We're not there yet. This is something that. Is it Carol? Who is Ryu in GitHub? I think it's Carol.
Let me just open Transifex.
And I got an IM.
Okay.
Anyhow, I had. Yes, I know, Thomas. I know. I'm gonna get to that in a sec. All right. So we knew that the documentation was bad. Bad meaning not that it wasn't, not that we didn't have a lot of it, but in certain areas it's lacking a lot. It doesn't allow you to see the whole picture. From version to version, you would see things missing or not being documented, and so on and so forth. Add to that we have a lot of friends throughout the world. Okay, I got what you're saying now, Thomas. We can. I'll get to that in a sec. So the problem is that you cannot assume that everybody speaks English. All right, I come from Greece, and this has always been a problem with me. Unless I knew English, people will not understand me, which is really stupid. So we're very strong in almost any language that you can think of, in any region, and we have friends everywhere. So we have to provide documentation for everybody. Now, when you put the documents in read the docs, the bad thing with them is that they don't offer subdomains. So if you go to, let's say, docs.phalconphp.com, you cannot see a list of the available languages, so that you can flip it over and say, all right, well, now I want the Spanish, or now I want the Chinese, or now I want the whatever comes up. We have a lot of people that helped with the documentation, and it's amazing the amount of time that has been spent from people on writing documents. But the problem with that is that the minute you release a new version, all the documentation has to be revisited again, because you really don't know, especially with read the docs, what has changed from A to B. And you don't know if your translation is perfect. So you have to load up the English translation here, and let's say the Greek translation there, and you have to keep on going through the list, and then after an hour of reading, you probably go, oh, well, they changed the line here. So that didn't work. So I was talking with Ryu. I'm pretty sure it's Carol. I might be wrong. Anyway, ignore me. So I was talking to one of the members of the community, and he did some great work with putting all the documents in a database, basically splitting them into paragraphs, and slapping a version onto them, and then by the click of a button, he would create JSON files, unique key and the text, unique key and text, and all those would be transferred to Transifex, which is the service that we use to do our translations. It makes things a lot easier. The minute something changes, you just see it. Now, we started very well. We started going through that, and then, of course, life hit us in the face, and I was busy, and he was busy, and so on and so forth. So lately we revisited the idea with Andres, and we did some work on them. So some of the documentation is already in Transifex, but it's not all of it. Our goal is to basically go through that module where every single paragraph, every single string that exists in the documents, and I'm not talking about code, I'm talking about just the strings and nothing else, will be in Transifex. So whoever wants to go there could very well see the page on the left side and then just translate there. Um, all right. What Thomas is saying, very quickly. The resources are lacking for information how to write TDD applications with Phalcon PHP with regards to books and courses. Yes, TDD is lacking badly in Phalcon. I'll be the first one to admit it. Although I did write quite a lot of tests, it's never enough. The idea that we have for 2.0 is to use code deception. It's our friend Michael, who is in Ukraine as well, that created code deception, and code deception allows you to write very quickly tests. Actually, sorry, Carol, that was not you. Ryu is Radek. Sorry, I made a mistake. My bad. So let me copy the URL for you guys. This is the site, codedeception.com, and it will allow us to write more functional tests and integration tests and unit tests with a framework. With the introduction of 2.0, we're going to become a little bit more stringent. So I'm going to become the dictator of pull requests. And the reason, or bugs, and the reason I want to do this is because Phalcon is a learning experience for everybody. And I want this to be a learning experience of good practices for everybody. If you have a problem, if you found a bug or you think you found a bug, it is extremely easy for somebody to write a test that will fail, submit it with a pull request, and open your issue. As simple as that. What does that do? And Thomas will be laughing right now. It helps us identify where the error is. If this was something that you did wrong, fine, it's done. But if it's something that we, meaning the framework builders, wrong, then it points us to the right direction versus asking, okay, so what if you do this? What if you do that? What if you do this? What if you do that? And anybody that has talked to clients in their business knows exactly what I'm talking about. When you're talking to the client and you're trying to get as much information as possible to understand where the problem lies. Now, we're talking about technologists here, so it's not going to be difficult for people to write tests, especially once we have code deception into play. Additional resources will be available in terms of videos, in terms of how-tos and stuff like that on how to write tests. But my dream, so to speak, is, I don't know if we're going to get to that, but that's a different story. Every bug will need to have a pull request with a failing test. Now, certain bugs you're not going to be able to do it. For instance, I load up Phalcon and I get a segmentation fault. That you cannot have a test on that. Fine. But if you're telling me that, you know, I use the tag component and I was expecting to see a radio button here and I didn't get a radio button, it's extremely easy to slap your code into a test and send it in. This way, we make sure that the more tests get into the framework, we don't reintroduce problems from the past. So, yay, tests. So, anything else, guys? Anybody else wants to contribute?
Yes,
Go for
Nicholas,
it.
I would like to enjoy
Sir.
the topic about TDD and about tests and something I was wondering about.
Uh-huh.
So, Phalcon is mostly writing C originally, and there's
Yes.
Zephyr, and there's another language. Uh, is there any option or there is any thought about unit testing Phalcon in its core? About we do PHP tests on the core, like something we can use PHP units to test an application when you write
Yes.
models and everything and stuff. But when we're talking about testing Phalcon itself, is there any gist or any thoughts about it to help us to apply unit tests to the Phalcon core itself?
All right. Well, in the ideal world, you wouldn't need to do that. So you wouldn't need to create tests because we, so to speak, as the ones that created Phalcon, have 100% coverage. This is not the ideal world. We don't have 100% coverage. There's a lot of areas that we do not have covered. There's two types of tests that we have in the framework. And I'm trying to find right now where I've seen them, but I'll find them anyway. There are some tests that exist and they're being used directly by the C compiler, and those are executed without any problems. You don't have to know any PHP. You have to know C, the C side. And then there's the PHP tests. I know that Vladimir introduced those tests, the C-based ones, in order to make sure that no segmentation faults get reintroduced and so on and so forth from things that he had fixed. Now, the PHP-based tests, we have two folders, of course. One is called unit test and one is called PHP tests. Those two will merge in 2.0 for sure. I mean, I've said it in the past, but it never materialized. It was really difficult for me to find the time to migrate one from one to another. So now that we're going with the direction of codeception, we're going to have everything in one. So that's about it. We're going to have only one structure, one folder that will have all your tests. And what we could do is we could just introduce, let's say, a couple of sample tests on how you write a functional or an integration or a unit test. If you're looking just the framework, not your work, you could contribute to those. Let's say you wanted to test the text component or the tag component or the translate native array or something like that. You could effectively write tests onto that. You shouldn't, in theory, because every framework should have 100% coverage of their codes. Like I said, we're not there yet. We want to get there. It's not that we're lazy. We don't have time, enough time anyway. So the good thing is that the tests that we already have there are quite okay. They're not perfect, but they're quite okay, and the build is passing all the time. But there's plenty of room for improvement. Just because we're basically a small team, and we all have families. You know this from your own lives. I would have loved to basically say, okay, for 6 months, I'm not doing anything. Somebody else is paying me, and I'm sitting and I'm writing all the tests and I'm covering everything that Phalcon has. But we can't. I'm looking at the GitHub page right now. We have 120 feature requests and 66 medium bugs. Some of those 66 might not be bugs. I haven't gone through them yet. There you go. You can hear my son in the background. It's one of those things. In your application, what I would suggest is you write your own tests the way they are. And if you want to test something, honey, I'm on the phone. I'll come in a minute, okay? Okay. Thank you. There you go. My future programmer. So you just write your test for your own platform, and if you want to test something that comes in, whether this is, let's say, a model test with MySQL or whatever else you're using, there you go. There's the little guy. Whenever he sees cameras, he's up here. Hi. There you go. Go ahead and test that until we get the testing suite to 100% code coverage. It's never gonna be enough. Wave to the guys. Hi.
Hi.
Hi to everybody. All right. For Alex, what is the future of Vault? I'm not using it because my designer works with pure HTML. Is there a point to teach my designers Vault? Sure. Why not? You can use you can use Vault with pure HTML. You can use it without it.
Hi.
Hi. It's okay, honey. All right. Go upstairs to your sister. Hold on. Thank you, big guy. Thank you. All right. The benefits that I see in Vault is that the syntax is really easy. It's very similar to Twig that has been used throughout. And whenever I want to do for next loops, conditionals, and so on and so forth, I can do them on a template. Yes, and Jinja for Chango. Thank you, Carol. I can do them on the template without overloading the controller and just passing everything in the view. Now, a lot of people will not use it because they don't want to, or because it doesn't suit their needs. So, for instance, I'm thinking of something here. If you're using, let's say, Angular, and you want to use it, if you ignore the fact that Vault and Angular have exactly the same interpolation or something, that the little brackets, if you ignore that and you get around that, you don't really need for next loops. So the question comes, why should you use Vault? You can use pure HTML templates because Angular will do the ng repeat and so on and so forth and show you everything. Yes, Odiel, great question. And Steven and Brian and Davi and, well, basically everybody. You're not the only ones. I went through that trap myself when I was starting, and even now. Sometimes you get one parameter, sometimes you get two, or an array. The easiest example I can give you is the tag component. If you want to build something, there you go. Alex joins the party, and you don't really know what's going on. So the where we are failing right now is to give you guys precise information as to what does it mean if I pass one parameter, and what does it mean if I pass an array, and what are the array elements. All right, so we need to sit down and put more into the documentation effort. Hopefully with 2.0 we're just going to go through everything with a fine-tooth comb and get everything ready before it's released. I really don't care if we're going to delay the 2.0 even for another month, so long as what we give you guys is more precise, so that you don't have to bang your head against the expensive keyboard and monitor because something did not work, because the documentation was not correct. With Zephyr, reading the code and knowing what's going to happen, it's going to be a lot easier for you guys to do so. Odiel, passing objects, it's going to be tough. It's going to be very difficult because we're going to break the API completely. Who was it? Gareth asked earlier. Gareth asked earlier about whether there's going to be any backwards compatibility from 1 to 2, Phalcon 1.x to 2.0. And I did say whatever we need to change in terms of the API, you guys will know well in advance. If we do change the way things are injected into a function, a call, or whatever, and instead of having a string or an array, you now have objects, that's going to break the API. I've seen this question before in the forums, and it's something on my long list to do. I don't know at the moment. I mean, we need to find kind of like a common ground between the request, the NFR, and basically not pissing every Phalcon developer because we broke the API. So I don't know, maybe a different method call. I don't know. We can talk about this for sure. I don't know if there is an NFR in there. If there's not, go ahead and do it, or start a discussion in the forum so that we can see the best way possible to address this. Question from Alex: will you evolve Mongo ODM? We want to, we just don't have time right now. Like I said, we have around 66 bugs that have been reported in the repository and 120 NFRs. We do maintain 2 versions right now, and there's only 4 of us, if you think about it. For those that don't know, Vladimir lives in Ukraine, and with the current events, he had to basically step down. So right now we're 1 resource less on how we're gonna evolve, and of course everybody knows we do have families. You saw my little man, so we're trying to juggle the time. Question by Alex: do you plan to produce tough integration with Redis, memcached, and object caching? Tough integration. Okay. We're moving towards the train of thought, and the way we operate is that we try to do the most needed requests in the community. Now, that might not help you, Alex, for instance, because let's say you want Redis. But if you're the only one that needs Redis and 20 people want, let's say, Oracle, we're going to concentrate on Oracle. It is what it is. With that in mind, we created the incubator repo, and there have been a hell of a lot of contributions to that repo, which we're really excited about. But what that repo also gives us is a sample implementation of what this new item is. There have been items in the incubator repo that we basically pick them up and put them into the core. I'm talking about caching objects in RAM. Okay. You mean grabbing an object and storing it in as an object in your memcache or in Redis? Well, isn't there an adapter for Redis already in the incubator? As far as I know. There is one, isn't there? So couldn't you just store the item up there? Okay. So what is your thought, Alex? What kind of, let's say, object would you store in RAM? You store every object in RAM. You are brave, my friend. I don't know. The answer to your question, I don't know. It could very well be something that it could be something that we could look into that. But right now, I'm thinking mostly it's gonna be at 2.0 when we're gonna visit it. So anything that comes in as an NFR, it's gonna be double checked with 2.0. So just for the to give you a time frame, we're looking at 3 months from now. So we're not going to keep on maintaining 2 versions. We're in a good stage where Phalcon 2.0 is out so far. We're not there yet, but within those 2-3 months, we want to be able to produce the first stable version. And from then on, I think the sky's the limit in terms of what people can do and how people think. And we could basically build all sorts of extensions that would allow anybody to do anything they want to, just like basically enhance the extensions that PHP has. So I'm not giving you the answer that you probably expected, but that's the only honest answer that I can give you. I don't think that we're in a position where we can actually go full speed ahead and fix almost everything that we could do. And this is a great NFR. I mean, yeah, you can have every object in RAM, but then again, it's a dangerous thing if you don't know what you're doing. So, so yeah, basically you're using the main caching approach. I do the same thing with my cache. Initially, I use file cache, so I see the cache store. If my key is not there, then I ask the DB. If it's not in the DB, throw an exception. If it is, pick it up, store it in the cache, and return it back to the caller. So you're using exactly the same approach for the cached objects. What kind of I'm trying to wrap my head around this. And guys, the ones that that are seeing the chat, if you can understand it better than I do, by all means. What is your view in terms of? I mean, this is basically the main caching mechanism, right? What more is needed? I mean, there is the adapter for Redis. One could argue, well, are you going to put Redis as part of the framework, not as an adapter from the incubator repo, which is fine. That's one. What else is needed? What is your question? Okay, application pattern. Well, application patterns. A lot of people wanted HHVM. Okay. To ODL's, to expand a little bit on what ODL wrote, I think that is an application pattern, nothing to do with all right, we have mixed mixed messages here. Anyway, to answer what Alex is saying, definitely something to consider. To integrate caching more within the framework. You guys have probably seen that there is some caching in the ODM. Not to the level that we would have liked it, but there is something in there. And then the rest of it, you can do it yourself. Again, I'm very, very confident that once Zephyr comes out and 2.0, we can sit down, revisit every single thing that has been asked. And since you all guys are going to have all the tools you need to build Phalcon code in an easy to understand format, then you could, if you want to, again, just produce the code yourselves. There's your pull request. There's your tests. And I know that Thomas is laughing right now, or is smiling, for that matter. So there's your pull request. These are your tests. This is my contribution to the framework. It's like 2 lines. Fine. I just introduced something else. So think about it this way. Let's assume that what Alex is asking cannot be done, or we couldn't do it, or we don't want to do it. It doesn't really make a difference. What could happen, though, is an extension can be built that is heavily reliant on Phalcon, that, let's say, would not load if Phalcon is not present. And that extension could give him what he wants. And then the person that built it just puts it in the incubator or open sources it so that somebody else can pick it up. And then somebody else improves it, and so on and so forth. So my point is, the idea behind all these NFRs is great. People want more functionality, but we're coming back again to the point that we're only 4 guys, right? And if you think about the actual resources, I'm kind of like useless in C, so that makes 3 guys. And at times it's just 2 guys. And I know that Eduard is laughing right now. So, so it is a very, very small team. One thing that I have to say about Jesse, there is /team in the main website. So if you go to phalconphp.com/en/team, you're gonna see all our mugshots. As far as the as far as the what Alexander is saying, or Alex is saying, I've worked with Doctrine in that huge project that I mentioned earlier, and one of the guys decided to introduce the caching of Doctrine, which is great, but it completely borked the database and everything, because it would cache everything in memory. We had to bring in more memory cache servers and everything like that, and we could not rely on the data that was present in the cache. So after a while, we kind of like got rid of it. And this is Doctrine that we're talking about. It's a huge project with tons and tons of tests and a lot of coverage, very mature, and so on and so forth. And I'm personally a little bit intimidated by the fact that if these guys did not get it right, I mean, I'm pretty sure we were doing something wrong as developers, but if these guys didn't get it spot on, that doesn't mean that we're not going to make certain mistakes. We're all humans. We do make mistakes. So I would prefer, personally, if the caching methodology or the caching model that each developer uses is left up to them rather than the the application rather than the framework, because you know exactly what to cache and when. Having said that, it doesn't mean that we couldn't introduce something that could help you guys. I'm giving you an example: the assets manager, the caching that you get there by combining and minifying all the assets that you have, so that you can bring everything back. That's a good example that we can introduce this. But for database interactions, I would be extremely cautious. But it's never say never. Let's have a look. What's going on? Actually, on that, Davi, it's a gang of 5. Sadly, Vladimir never sent us a picture, so we never put him up here. And you're not going to see his GitHub picture there because he had to close his account. And like I said, Jesse, I'm not a C developer, so if you're looking at the core, you're looking at Vladimir, Eduard, and Andres, 3 guys. Nikolai is perfect with the Russian community and helping us with documentation and some management of the issues and so on and so forth. He's very quick on answering questions. So basically, the 2 of us are kind of like useless. We're just sitting here, just looking nice. So yeah, it is amazing that a crazy idea was born, and with such a small size of a team, we have gone this far. Once again, Jesse, I'm gonna reiterate that once the fear is out, you might be able to contribute whatever you want, because you're gonna have the ability to write code in a similar fashion as you do with C or JavaScript or something like that. All right, so let me quickly see the Q&A module. Maybe we have a question. Nope. Okay, so far so good. Anybody else wants to share anything? I can see we're 1 hour 44 minutes. Way to go, guys. Of course, you can say anything you want, Steven.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Does my microphone work? No.
Yep.
Oh, it worked? Okay. I feel very much intimidated by the C code. I've looked at it a bunch of times, and sometimes even I contributed a fix, but it was only in terms of documentation, because the documentation reference was wrong or whatever, or the IDE stub was wrong, and it had to be fixed in the C code in the comments. And I think once Sapphire becomes the main driving force behind Phalcon, I would feel much more obliged, much more confident in writing or contributing code to Phalcon. And then, yeah, I really hope that that this core team will grow and will be able to fix a lot of things, because for example, I built a lot of hacks around Phalcon, and a lot of people that are in this Hangout might do the same thing. They build their own variation. They extend some classes. They build some wrappers around something to make it work how they want it to work, and that's of course fine. But it's also, if you could extend the framework to offer more functionality, and you can contribute that to the world, that would be, of course, the ideal solution. So
absolutely.
And I really hope that when Phalcon 2.0 becomes live, that this will in fact happen, that this growth spurt will become evident. Sorry.
I hope so too. I mean, I don't think that people want Phalcon to fail anymore. I mean, we used to have our hate and hate speech in the beginning, which was really funny. But when you see so many people engaging us in terms of pull requests, NFRs, discussions in the forum, IRC, where I know that Stephen has been a resident there. There's even a warm chair dedicated to him in the IRC channel. Yeah, I know, Brian. I've seen all the hate. Trust me, once you see the first 100 posts, then you go like, hey, okay, well, whatever. Don't use it. I'll bring you the. I'm laughing at what Audiel wrote. I'm gonna bring you the example of AngularJS. When I first knew about the problem, knew about the program, it was called Get Angular. It was back in 2009, and it was a crazy idea by Miško Hevery. I'm pretty sure Thomas knows him because he's an addict for test-driven development, as we are. So he started this thing trying to make the browser a little bit smarter and offer functionalities, kind of like a for next loop on your browser without having to reload pages. So the yep, hate leads to the dark side, absolutely. So when he started this project, it was just you, me, whoever. Okay. Then later on it grew, and he was lucky enough to convince some of his employers in Google to fund him, and then their team grew up to 4 people, and now a lot of people are using AngularJS and so on and so forth. Where I'm getting with that is that some time ago I read a post from Igor Minar, who is one of the big guys there alongside with Miško, and he basically said that we are basically not going to fix any bugs. We're stopping all the bug fixes right now. And the reason being is that they had so many pull requests from people that they had fixed things, they had enhanced things, and so on and so forth, that it was more evident to them that all the bugs reported had already been fixed by those pull requests, plus more functionality came in, and they didn't have time to even test everything. So if you want to ask me what my dream scenario is the time that I'm not going to have time to look at all the pull requests that come in. That's my dream scenario for Phalcon, and I want to see it grow. So Zephyr, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the thing that moves us forward. And yes, haters are gonna hate. Big deal. That's fine. Let them hate all they want. Let them program with MySQL_query instead of using PDO. So.
But can I also say something? I also think that a big part of what makes other frameworks more popular, more mainstream, or whatever is not only the fact that they are pure PHP and more accessible in terms of collaboration. It's also, for example, the amount of resources that they have. They have either corporate backings, or they have like certifications and a lot of books and widespread resources on the internet. It's also a resource thing. I heard you mention that you were going to maybe start a company or something dedicated to providing I don't know, support services
support, anything.
Yeah. But this still won't be a real, corporate entity that supports Phalcon. Are there any plans of maybe, getting some support out there from some?
Well, with the model that I'm thinking of is a support model / Skywriters. Nice. Good one. Very good one. All right, so here's the thing. There's many ways that you can monetize or help your company grow. The main problem is to find the clients. Okay. Now, through the main email that we do get requests by people saying, "Hey, I want to build this with Phalcon. We're a very dedicated team. I want some help with you guys, from you guys. I want X amount of hours." Okay, so the first model would be, okay, buy 5 hours at X amount of money, and if you want to use them, use them. If you don't want to use them, they don't expire. So when you use them, you get immediate support from us, and that's one. Two is you could effectively get a support contract that would say, all right, you can contact us up to, let's say, 5 hours a week. I'm just making the numbers up, right? 5 hours a week for as many weeks as you want, so long as you pay us that much amount of money per month. If you don't contact us, that's fine. I mean, but if you do contact us, it's up to 5 hours. Then you have the custom development, and then you could effectively have sponsorship. Yes, like what Jesse said, it's like having someone on a retainer. And then you could have sponsorship. So Google, for instance, turns around and says, "We really like you guys. You're doing a great job." I'm dreaming right now, but what the hell? There you go. There's that much money. Start something or build this. We're gonna pay for your salary for a year or 2 years, and let's see where this goes in, where this moves. So you could have people doing that. You could have companies that would like to either donate or sponsor X amount of development. You could even have now, and I truly believe that Zephyr is opening new avenues for us in general as developers, because not only you could create an extension for a slow piece of code and put it on your clients or whoever needs to use it on their web server, but you could effectively protect your application from the novice hands. Meaning, right now, we're just grabbing a bunch of files, throwing them on the web server. The client gets it, fine. Then they get little Johnny, their cousin's kid, that goes and tinkers around, and great, they don't need you anymore. But if you really want to be serious about it, you just throw some core components, maybe slow ones, maybe some authentication components or something like that, something that calculates hash to protect your intellectual property. Additionally, you could be hired to optimize a website, and you could use Zephyr to grab the slowest part of code and throw that in. So there's many avenues that can open. As far as the sponsorship is concerned, or as far as the company is concerned, you could have a company another entity that turns around and says, you guys, I'm going to give you that amount of money, build this, or I'm going to be giving you that amount of money without any strings attached. I don't know which one will come in, or if any, but I'm hoping that they do, because I know all of us, at least in the core team, love doing what we do. And honest to God, guys, I mean, this is my free time. I am going to work in 2 hours. So, and I've been up all night with the little girl, my baby girl. So this is basically the free time that I have, and you all know how your time is managed. Sadly, I wish I could offer more, but I can't right now. Odile, I told Andres that the only thing that he doesn't like from Zephyr is the fact that he cannot completely replace PHP. The problem here is not Zephyr, or not even Phalcon. The problem is the Zend engine. That's where our current problem lies. Had the Zend engine being developed and had it evolved in such a way that would make things faster for us, PHP would not have had this reputation that it's kind of like a slow uh, framework, and B, we wouldn't really need this. We wouldn't really need either Zephyr or Phalcon. But I think that Zend kind of like sat on its laurels. It said, all right, we got so many billions of users, we're fine the way we are. We're just going to keep on moving PHP forward. I mean, it's, to those that follow the news, look at how much hype came up with PHP 6. And then all of a sudden, where's PHP 6? It's been how many years that we've been hearing about PHP 6? So, anyhow, yeah, about 6 years. So, instead of somebody sitting down and saying, you know what, we have these things that are bad in the framework, let's fix them. And then in the next iteration, fix the other things, but don't introduce new. It is what it is. So, guys, we are 2 minutes shy of 2 hours. Yep, I think that it will. I think that it will bring great things. I think my little native is complaining here. He's coming again with his Dino shirt to check again on you guys. Yes, he's my mini Phalcon user. You want to say hi to the guys? All right, go for it.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. That's my little man. All right, so any questions, guys, before we wrap this up? I'm going to try and make this kind of like a regular thing. Definitely once a month, maybe more. And I'm going to try and encourage others to do this in let's say Spanish or Russian, or to make it a lot easier for people that don't feel comfortable.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6, 7,
8, 9.
Thank you, baby.
9.
Good man. All right. A lot of people are bitching about HP. Whoa, that went way too fast. All right, so I would say let's wrap this up here. Miss Lenny, Daddy's talking. And I want to organize more and more of these. Like I said, with Spanish-speaking, French-speaking, Russian-speaking, any other language, to give others the opportunity to speak in a language that they feel more comfortable with. I mean, I should know. I come from Greece, so I know that Greek is easier for me. All right. With that said, this is our first. No, Steven, you're the only one here. We still love you either way. All right. With that said, we don't have any questions in the Q&A module. I would like to thank everybody that came in. It's great to see you guys, and this video will be available shortly on YouTube for anybody that wants to see it. And we'll do this again in a few weeks.
In a few weeks.
In a few weeks. There you go. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
In a few days,
Goodbye. Nice
Bye.
I will be better.
Yeah, in a few days it will be better. All right. Bye, everybody.